Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Renzo here. Okay, I'm gonna say hello to some people. Hello Pescare21. Hello Letmila. Hello Jeremy. Hello Jonas. Okay. Let's paint. Okay, I'm gonna start a new portrait. I'm gonna mention the colors first. Here are the colors I'm gonna use: titanium white, cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium red, permanent alizarin crimson, raw amber, ultramarine blue, and ivory black. Okay, as usual, my brushes are synthetic brushes. Okay, and let me start with I'm gonna start with this one. This is number 8. I'm gonna start blocking the shadows. Somebody please let me know you can hear me okay. You all can hear me okay? Hello Brian. Okay, let's see. Okay. Looks like everything is working okay here. Yeah? It looks like. You hear me saying, I wonder how many coffees Renzo drinks in a day. Yeah, usually I drink like I mean not all days, but when I have like a coffee day, something like that, I can drink like 5, 6 coffees, like a big caps. Okay, I'm gonna start just. I'm gonna move my image. I have the picture here on my screen to my left. Let me see. I can place the whole head here. There's something like this. This is raw umber. Okay, the neck here. Let's see. I'm squinting down my eyes and try to just, even though I don't have anything anyway, squinting down my eyes and trying to group on the photograph, values. I think I'm going to start just painting all the dark values that I see on the photograph. Because I squint down my eyes, I see something like this. Okay, I'm gonna start painting. This is raw umber, a little bit of linseed oil. Okay, let's see. Let's imagine all this is dark. I'm painting right now and I'm keeping my eyes squinted down. Okay. Shadow, shadow, shadow here in the background. Everything dark here. Dark. I'm just trying to copy all these dark values. Okay. A little bit up. For example, for the hair, I'm trying to simplify this, just simple shape. Okay, and then obviously here, in order to paint the shadows, I got to see the light. And when I see that in the light area on the face, it looks like a rectangle. And this is a little bit darker here. And now here, okay. Okay, I'll keep my eyes squinted down, and I think, there's nothing yet, but enough to see that, let's say the width and the height is kind of okay. Thank you, Jonas. Hello, Herbit. Thank you. Hello, Scooter. Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Ellen Spectacular. Hello, Elaine, Joanne, Jean. Hello, Kirat. Sorry. Hello, Casimo. Yeah. Okay, let's see. And now, okay, I'm gonna continue adding more paint. Okay, raw umber and permanent alizarin crimson. Just that. And let's see. Okay, at the same time, basically, copying the photograph I have to my left. I always think about proportions, you know, because we need, okay, remember that we need the knowledge. And I always recommend just a pretty simple book. This is How to Draw the Head and Hands by Andrew Loomis. Okay. Okay, now the eyes usually are in the middle of the whole head. Don't count here, okay? Imagine that the head is here, and then from here to here, halfway from the top to the bottom, we should find the eyes, kind of here. And then the eyebrow on top. Okay, now from the eyebrow to the base of the nose, kind of the same distance from the base of the nose to the chin. We gotta just check out if the face is tilted forward or backward, because that's gonna affect, you know, these measurements. Now the width of the face does something different. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated. I would suggest for just to not complicate ourselves too much, just measure. Okay, one thing that I used to do is just measure. I compare with the photograph. I check out if the measurement is okay. Yeah, it looks okay. When we think about the width of the face, we gotta think about the whole head as a three-dimensional object, not like the way that we think when we approach basically with a linear approach. That's more like a bidimensional object. Okay, what I mean is this is a bidimensional object, a square, and this is a three-dimensional object, a box. Okay, now when I copy, I use a lot of this. That's why I simplify always the face, you know, into what? Into simple geometrical shapes. A square, a triangle, you know, a circle. When it's about the width of the face, you know, it's better to think in this way. And when that happens, we need to use our imagination to imagine that we place the whole head inside a box, a rectangular box. Okay, and then we have the frontal plane of the face and lateral plane of the face. Okay, usually this line, you know, kind of hit the cheekbone here. That's an indication of how there is a change on the plane of the face. This is one plane and this is another plane. Okay, now I say that we use our imagination to imagine, you know, half of this side of the plane, and usually half of this side we're gonna find the ear. Okay, or pretty close. You remember that nothing of this is perfect. You know, this is just to get close. You need to use something like this in visual information. That's basically copying the photograph. It's a combination. Okay. And between things that we know about how we're going to work with a primary form. These are two primary forms. This is a bidimensional primary form, a three-dimensional primary form. The same way that, you know, we have primary colors, we have primary forms. Okay, it's like for the neck. What we use for the neck? We use another primary form. What's this? A cylinder. That helps us, okay, to understand what's happening there, how we apply light, how we apply shadows. When we know a primary form, we kind of know, you know, where are the shadows and where are the lights and where are obviously the midtones. Okay. Hello Fanchon 33, hello Nico. Oh, Nico, hello Mark. Cosimo Genko is saying, hi Renzo, glad to follow your lessons also in Spanish. Oh, that's pretty good. Hello Sharon, how are you? Hello Manuel, hello Ludmila saying, I watch Renzo lessons in Spanish too. Okay. Even though I don't understand what he's saying. Oh, okay. Hello Spirit History, hello Line, hello Jose, hello Maggie, hello Michael. Help Betty saying, hello Renzo, do you happen to have a tutorial on how you digitally simplify an image to get the basic colors before painting? Oh, that's a question. Before painting, I saw it in one of your time lapses. Oh yeah. I use Photoshop to do that. Yeah, if yeah. I'm gonna show you. Okay. I got a question here, Michael. What difference squinting makes? Squinting is just basically to simplify what we see. Okay. I usually when I squint, what I see, is I see all this dark here, all this dark, and I see light in the middle. I just that. It's kind of a simple thing, but it's really helpful. Okay, okay, I gotta paint. Okay, now I'm gonna prepare a mid-tone. Let's say that was my shadow. I'm gonna prepare a mid-tone. I usually prefer to start with orange, knock down this orange with black and white, blue and white, or raw umber and white, because what I want is to knock down this color. Let's say that's gonna be my mid-tone. Okay, somebody was asking me about that image that basically I take the photograph and I separate values. Maybe you have seen on some of my time lapses. Usually I do that on the classes for the patron lessons. I'm gonna try to show you all here how to do that. Okay, some people are asking me about how to do that. That's a filter in Photoshop. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna open Photoshop just to have it here. And this way I can show everybody really fast. Okay, let's see. I'm going to open in Photoshop this photograph that I'm painting now. I'm gonna have it here ready to show you, but I want to paint a little bit more here. Okay, I do that because when we paint on the classes on Patreon, my idea is just for everybody that's there in the class to get used to separate values. Okay, that's this is by repetition basically. We gotta train our brain just to be able to understand that where is light is light, where is shadow, and we're not gonna just paint a lighter value on a darker area. Okay, and we gotta respect as much as possible the shadows, because without shadow we don't see light. And you know what happens when we paint? I mean, we tend to light up the darker colors. We don't, I don't know, when we blend the painting, we tend to light up the darker colors, and it shouldn't be like that, but that happens. We're gonna say, that's a mistake that we all have done sometimes. We keep doing that for some years sometimes. Kevin Littlewood is telling me, can you do more acrylics? I will try. I'm thinking about, I go live once a week. I used to go live like 4 times a week, like 3-4 days. I'm trying to add a new day, like go live twice a week. I just, I gotta just put some order here on the things that I gotta do in order to be able to spend one more day with you all here on YouTube and Facebook. I'm going live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay. Now we can start in two different ways. Sometimes we start with a really neat and tight drawing, a linear drawing, or we can start with something like this. It's more like a sculptural approach. Okay, when we say a sculptural approach, it means that we imagine, a sculpture. Why? Because when we make a sculpture, there is no lines. It's just about form. And we start something like this with values. It's not about line. It's again just forms, shapes. Okay, before I forget, I'm gonna show everybody about this filter in Photoshop. Just 1 second, let me. Can everybody see Photoshop? Here's Photoshop. Now in the upper part of the menu it says filters. I press filter gallery. Okay, and then I don't know, you can see all of this, and then I have this, and what I do basically, I pick up for the first, it says up here where I'm moving the mouse, artistic, and I pick up this one, it says cut out, and what I got is this, a separation, a value separation. Now if I select the number of levels 6, I got more, 3, you see, 2, and just by doing that, what I do is I got this image where it's easier to see, light, midtones, shadows, and you pick up 3 values, 4, 5, 6. It's in order to understand that we gotta always, this is not just for portraits, okay? This is for anything. Every time that we paint something, anything, we gotta think always about values, okay? About separate values, but that's how we create the illusion of reality here on the painting, the illusion of realism, of depth. I'm gonna try more filters. I haven't tried so much. Maybe this one. I think that's the best one. Now Photoshop. I think it's not free, but there is another software that is pretty close to Photoshop. It's free. Let me just try to remember the name. I think it's something like PhotoPad. PAD. Okay. Somebody remember that? Maybe here somebody's from my Patreon lessons and remember that name, that software. Because that one is free. Okay, it's online. It's free. Photoshop, you gotta pay for Photoshop. Okay, what can I do? I mean, I cannot stop painting now to try to find the name of that software, the free software. So sorry, I haven't prepared for to show you this thing about Photoshop. Next time I'm gonna try to look for that name for the free software. Okay, I'm squinting down my eyes. Now what I can do now, I can draw now. Like using a pencil. Okay, pick up this brush number 0. I pick up raw umber, a little bit of black, and alizarin crimson. I'm gonna use it like I'm using just a regular pencil. Okay, I got something here. I got something. Okay, now I can compare. It's not enough what I have, but if I can compare and I can use what I have here. Look at this here. There's nothing, but at least it's kind of an indication of the position of the eye and the nose here. Okay. Okay, now I'm painting one eye, and at the same time, by making this line basically and grouping all of this, the eyebrow and the eye together. In this way, it's gonna be easy, copy the relationship that exists between the eye and the eyebrow. Because sometimes we paint the eyebrow kind of too high or too close to the eye. And what I do is just that, just simple marks, and then I move to the nose. I cannot stay that much on one eye because there's no purpose on staying working on details right now, because I'm not so sure about if the position of the eye is okay. Okay. Now I spread my view, and I think about just this area. Remember, at the same time, I got the image to my left, same size, okay, pretty close to my canvas. In this way I can compare. And I usually compare a lot. My eyes move from the photograph to my canvas. Sometimes I bounce my eyes from the photograph to my canvas really fast. Okay, now let's see the mouth. The same way that I started with, with the overall shape, all this, the overall shape, I can do that the same with the mouth. That's the overall shape. Okay. Okay. Let's see how tilted is the mandible. I can use a brush, put it on my painting, and put it on the photograph and compare, if that's okay. Or I can use just the frame maybe of the photograph to compare, how tilted it is. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up, I'm gonna mix a darker color and paint some lighter colors on the face. Okay. I'm just thinking, stepping back and thinking. Okay, let's go with the lights. I'm just thinking right now and comparing with the photograph. I'm squinting down my eyes. Now, one thing that you all can notice, I think, my colors are off. That's pretty obvious. Okay. I don't want you to care about that when you're painting. What I want you to care always is about values more than anything. Light, lights and highlights. Okay, and as I always mention, you're gonna find the same lights and highlights on every portrait you paint. I think it could be a good idea, try to memorize where you're gonna see those highlights. Okay? If you try to do that, you're gonna realize that every time that you're gonna paint a trick-or-treat view, what's the surprise? The highlights are gonna be on the same spots. The face is a face. The anatomy is anatomy. We have the same bones. Everything is pretty close. Okay. I'm gonna warm up this color a little bit more. Okay. Let's see. Now I'm thinking about color. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm saturating more of this. Okay, now one thing I want you to think is something. Okay, the color I have here is not the color it's gonna end up being here. I'm mixing the same way that you mix on the palette in this area. The same thing is happening here. I lay down paint. Move my brush. I blend. I move my brush. What's happening? I got a new color here. It's different from this one. Okay. See if I got more questions. Hello, Prathamesh. Which type of canvas do you use? I prepare my own canvases. So sorry that I usually buy this. It's not lining. This, how can I don't remember the brand of this. And I buy this cloth and apply 3 layers of gesso. Basically just that. Oh, Joan Venetti saying, see, Photopad. Yeah, that's the software, free software. You're gonna find out in that software that it has all the filters on from the Photoshop paid version. You're gonna find them for free, which is pretty good. Hello, Larry. Jennifer is a question here. How do you correct color without messing up the tones? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Just by doing this, for example, I'm working on darker, let's say darker values here. I can change the color. I can even saturate this even more. Look at that. Let me exaggerate this. Okay. I'm saturating this more and more and more, but try to keep it like as a dark value. Okay. Now, here on this lighter color, I can do this. Different value. I'm saying value, sorry, different color. Okay, you see? As soon as I respect light and shadow, everything is gonna be okay. The problem that when we paint, sometimes we blend, and what happens is this: we blend, and we overworked. We blend. You say, "Oh my God, I'm getting this pretty fine." We blend, and after a few minutes, we realize that all this is just one value, and we just have, killed the shadow. Okay. That happens usually. I have seen that so many times. I mean, it's not like a big deal. You gotta realize first that what we are doing when we paint, and second, we gotta try, as much as possible just to keep the values separated. That's why for example, on Patreon, on the lessons, I use an image like it has separated values. In this way, like we are kind of trapped in this value scale. We can move from different colors, but we cannot escape from this value scale on different portions of the face. It doesn't mean that that's a solution or that's a magic solution. It takes a lot of practice to get used to that. Yeah? Now just notice I'm changing color a little bit. Yeah? And this thing about changing color is going to continue during the process. Okay, but in order to to be sure of all the colors are closer, uh, we gotta paint. We gotta just basically paint the whole canvas. Okay. Let's see more questions. Hello, universe. Okay. Hello, Michael. Michael say, may batch you mean so what? I don't understand that. Sorry. Oh, it looks like okay. Joanne is saying, do you ever scrape your paint off if you think you've gotten the wrong color or value? Yeah, definitely I do that. Yeah, definitely I can just pick up a palette knife and take out the paint. That's pretty normal for me. Yeah. I don't care about that. I don't imagine that when you paint, it's like you're drawing. You feel guilty when you use your eraser to correct your drawing. No, eh? No. In the same way, we can just pick up paper towel and clean some area. We can pick up a palette knife and just take out some paint that we think is not okay. And maybe we have ended up accumulating a lot of paint and we don't like it, and we just put more and more paint and nothing happened. Yeah, that's a good time for kind of just erase that area, take away that paint, that portion of paint, and prepare more paint and continue painting. There's nothing wrong about that. It doesn't show anything like nothing. I mean, I have done that in front of some students. It's just like it doesn't show. I don't think that it shows like I'm making a lot of mistakes. No, it shows that we are able to correct. And oil paint is just like that. Since the oil paint doesn't dry too fast, we have the opportunity. We gotta use it. One thing that usually I have, I think just people don't scrape off paint or don't use a palette knife is because we are afraid. We're afraid oh, look at the neck. Big mistake. There. Look at the neck. Oh my God. Okay, now it's better. Okay. But this thing about being afraid, the things that could happen on the canvas, they're applying the paint, is something that's gonna take a little bit of time, to get used to, because we're gonna be afraid for a long time. For me, is I don't know when, but I was pretty afraid. I was trying to mix a lot of time the painting here, spending a lot of time mixing, which is pretty good, in order to be so precise when I lay down the brush stroke. Yeah. Okay, and what happened with time, that we learned that it's gonna be kind of difficult to get all the colors right. And one thing that we need to do on the canvas first, kind of paint everything, and then we're gonna be able to make corrections. Okay. Now, speaking about when we paint in this way, let's say a la prima, because there are so many techniques, and some people can spend mixing color for hours, and that's pretty good. There's nothing right or wrong about techniques. Okay, let's see. I need to step back. Okay. I'm gonna move the photograph a little bit up. Okay, there. Honey Mir is asking me, I really like your painting, thank you. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, which technique do you use while painting? Is wet on wet? Yeah, it's wet on wet. A la prima, just is wet and wet. Okay, let's see more questions. Universe saying, I found out why oils on paper is not the same as on canvas. Because paper take all the oil out. This was a question I asked last time. Oh yeah, we gotta. It's not like if you're planning to paint on paper. You gotta prepare it the same way that you prepare canvas. It's not like it's the same way you gotta add 3 layers, 4 layers of gesso, and nothing is gonna happen. It's gonna be like exactly like the canvas. Exactly. Just 1 second. Okay. Universe is saying you're the best. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, feel free to ask me any question. Yeah. Okay, let me step back. Okay, okay. 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 I'm just thinking. I'm squinting down my eyes, stepping back, and just no. Okay. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to paint the edge of the face here. Okay. Okay, I need more paint. More orange, a touch of raw umber to knock down this orange. Another thing that's gonna happen every time that we try to blend is that usually we knock down all the highlights. We gotta be aware of that. It's like we paint the highlights, we blend, and we say, hey, that's everything is okay, and we say, oh, I'm finished. And then when we see the painting, there's no highlights, there's no lights. We gotta just check out on that, because that usually happens. Okay. And I'm basically placing just lights everywhere, but you have to remember all the lights are not the same. I mean, there's gonna be some areas on the face, some areas that where the lights are more brighter. Like for example, here I can see pretty clear on the photograph. That means that you cannot paint this highlight and this highlight with the same intensity. Okay. And for the people that maybe are interested on my Patreon lessons, you can go to my Patreon account. The link is on the description box and here in the comments on top. And you're gonna find there one of the classes just for free. Is there on top of the page. I'm pretty sure it's still there. Let me check out. Maybe it's not there anymore. I'm gonna check out. Okay, just 1 second. I keep a class. I usually there is like a 3 hours. Yeah, it's here. We painting some flowers. You can see for free just this lesson. And from time to time I change that lesson. Like I put another painting, another lesson for free. The difference is, I mean, you're gonna see that a lot of things are pretty close to what I show here on YouTube. Obviously, the difference is you're gonna see my patrons there. You're gonna see their paintings, and you're gonna see, then asking me questions and how I critique their paintings and how they solve, their problems. I'm cleaning one brush here. I'm gonna check out if I got some questions. Universe is saying it's better to work on bigger paper or small for beginner, and big with small brushes. I worked on a small paper with small brushes, and I had many problems. I also didn't make values right. If it's too small, that would be like when something is pretty small. Okay, we cannot think on details. But something that this size, I think, is pretty good. The size of my painting here is usually 8 by 10 inches or 8 by 8 inches, which I think is pretty good. And you all can see here week after week how kind of finish up a painting in 3 hours here. I mean, I try to do that every week. I think it's a good size. When the size is too small, I consider that more for painting a thumbnail, like a sketch for a bigger painting. Okay, and painting a portrait bigger than a real, size, a real human size, is one of the more difficult things. We kind of lost proportion when we go too big on the size of the head. Lines, okay. Okay, let's work on this eye a little bit. Let me see. I want to zoom in the camera. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think first, as you can see here, there is no iris. I need to paint an iris. Okay, paint a little bit, insinuate a little bit of the iris. Then I'm gonna see if I gotta move it to left, right. You know. Okay, I think I should move it to the left a little bit, but I'm not gonna do anything now because we're not so sure. You know, when we work like this, like we paint and draw at the same time, we gotta, you know, wait. We gotta take our time and wait. Okay, we paint a little bit, we wait, we continue painting, we check out, and then we start to see some mistakes, and we correct. Okay. Another thing that's gonna help everybody about painting a portrait is a little bit of anatomy. Study a little bit of anatomy to understand what we see. You know, what we see here, remember, is a sphere. Okay, and it's covered by an upper and lower eyelid. Now, when we paint this, we gotta think about that. Okay, look at this eye. If I think in the concept of a sphere, what's gonna happen with me? I'm gonna think that there is shadow here. If the light is coming from the right, there is shadow here. Okay, and it's light where? It's light in the middle here. Okay, and then I blend this and I got something spherical, you know. Okay, now let's go back. I place the upper eyelid here, lower eyelid, and I paint the iris. Okay. Now, always thinking about what we did. What we did is just first, what I did is just establish a basic form, a sphere. Okay. Remember, practice drawing spheres. When draw a sphere is you know, speaking about rendering, you know, a sphere, because drawing a sphere, if we draw a sphere, that's going to be a circle. We need to shade to get the volume. Okay, now the light is hitting here. And one mistake, for example, when we paint the upper eyelid and we see the light, we paint this light all the way from, you know, for the tear duct to the corner of the eye. Okay, and it's not like anyone can, you know, maybe you could say, hey, you know, why somebody would paint like that if you don't see that on the photograph. But that happens. That happens so often. And then what we need to do is, that's why we don't, basically, we need two things, you know. We do two things when we paint. We paint what we see and we paint what we know. Okay? Remember, knowledge about these little things, knowledge about anatomy, knowledge about where I'm gonna be always highlights and shadows on the face. All those things just help us to see more, to be able to copy. Let's move to the nose. There's no reason for me to stay, you know, there painting more and more details, because if I stay there for an hour, maybe after an hour I'm gonna realize that I have to move that. And okay. How to lose fear of painting oil? It's very difficult. Yeah, it's gonna be always very difficult. Hello, Mohammed. You use turpentine as thinner for oil paint? I don't use anything. I just the oil paint, nothing more. I use a little bit of linseed oil at the beginning, you know, to spread the painting, to spread out the painting a little bit fast on the canvas. Just that. Okay. Okay. Okay, ¿está bien? Okay, let's work on the nose. Estoy haciendo one color that is pretty nice for shadows, for darker shadows, like I'm painting now, is raw umber and alizarin crimson. It works pretty good. Okay, it's not like it's gonna be just one color, but let's say that as a base, and then on top of this, okay, we add more colors depending on what we need. Okay, then I worked a little bit on the nose. Okay. Oops, that's too reddish. I'm going to paint highlight. I'm mixing white with a touch of camel yellow. Okay. Let's see here. For example, this area here, in order to copy this, it's better to think about something, about a simple shape. For example, here, I think that I'm copying a triangle here. Okay. It makes easier this, you know, this copy thing. Okay, let me see. Okay, now the mouth. One thing that's easier when you work with an image that is close to your painting is about the position, the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. That's gonna be I'm gonna be pretty close because I can use a brush, put it like this, and see that the mouth maybe is too low, too up. Okay, a little bit of red. Oops, I forget to zoom out. Okay. Let's see. Michael Poi is saying, we are curious about your studio, the camera and light setting. Yeah, someday I'm gonna show my studio. Or maybe not. I don't know. Too much work. I would like to show my studio, so sorry. Yeah. You know why? How can I say? I mean, this kind of messy. Yeah. You know, what can I do? I'm not proud about that, and that's why I'm not gonna show my studio ever. Or maybe someday I show my studio, that means that I've been cleaning up my studio for hours. Yeah, about the lighting, I would try to maybe take some pictures, because for people that wants to maybe know my camera, the lights, in order to see how many lights I use. Yeah. Basically what I use is fluorescent lights. I got like 6 here, like around, like imagine a frame around the painting, obviously upper. I got 2 lights up to my right, I got 2 more to my left, I got 2 more. It's just a bunch of fluorescent lights. That's something that I'm in the process of changing that, and I'm gonna start buying new lights one of these days, because one thing is for sure, the camera, it needs lights, it needs light, a lot of light. The only problem that I face with a lot of light is that I don't see the image, the picture on my monitor pretty clear, because it becomes a little bit opaque, because I have too much light around, too much lights. Hello Sylvia, hello Barbara, hello Mariangela. Thank you universe, hello Lisa. Everyone's studio is messy. I got a question here, Chroma Kyle. Hi Renz, I have a question about blending acrylics. I watch you other acrylic videos and notice you lay down a paint stroke and blend it using a separate damp brush. When I try this, works, but often lift the paint off. the canvas kind of like watercolor. Is this happening because the paint and laying down is not thick enough? Thank you. Wow, difficult question. It could be, that. It could be that. I'm not so sure. Yeah, sorry about that. I cannot give you like. It could be one thing that I can tell you. Okay, check out your canvas. A lot of things happen because of the canvas. We try to so many times we try to find like the solution to what was happening on the brushes, the paints, the brand, you know. But I gotta say that 80% of the time, maybe even more, is about the canvas. Okay, and now I keep suggesting everybody first check out the canvas. If something that you gotta spend some money, buying something expensive, that would be a canvas. Don't buy cheaper canvases. There's okay, or prepare your own canvases. You can buy cheap brushes, that's for sure. I have bought these brushes. They're pretty nice. I bought them in Dollar City for $3 a set of 6 brushes, and these are pretty nice. Okay. No, but I wouldn't buy the canvases that they have there because I know they are not good. If I buy some of these days one of those canvases, I'm gonna add some extra layers of gesso, definitely. Okay. Now I worked a little bit on the mouth, everything basically on the face, a little bit. Okay. Okay, let me see. Oh, I gotta continue working on the neck, and then I'm gonna go back up again to the eyes, nose, mouth. One thing that I try I try to keep an order on my palette, and you're gonna see like usually I got lighter colors up and darker colors down. Okay, I'm gonna try to respect a value scale on my palette. Now that's for teaching purposes. If you see one of my palettes that I use here, like a palette for painting, it's a mess. Some of them are just pretty messy that you cannot read anything there. You cannot understand anything when you see the palette. But in this case, it's kind of easy to understand. And the colors you see here, you see the colors easily here. When the palette is messy, it's kind of, we don't have a clue what's happening. I love to see some order on my palette when I teach, obviously, because it's easier to kind of follow what I'm doing. But if right now my palette was a mess, like complete mess, I don't know. Obviously, people that are trying to learn from me definitely could be lost. Could be, that's what I think. I don't know. Maybe it's enough just to see this, but I think the palette and the painting, we gotta see both. Pamela Carter saying, "Renson, watch you from Cape Town, South Africa." Oh, pretty nice. I'm learning so much just following you. Oh, that's good. And the grandparent only started painting and sketching in the last year. Okay, that's pretty nice. It's pretty amazing. Every time that I read a city, a country, for some reason in my brain, I kind of try to picture something. Kind of try to picture a city, and sometimes I don't have like a information in my brain about the city, nothing. But that happens. I think that's a painter thing. Okay, that's for everybody. When we speak about something, we try to visualize. We picture images in our brain. Okay, she has green eyes. Hello, Garou George. I have found that my wife's old makeup brushes work well for blending brushes. Okay, that's good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's good. I'm working on the eye again, a little bit more. Trying to pay attention, to raise lights, midtones, and shadows, and always. I don't want a really sharp edge. And another thing, I gotta be careful about this dark line here. Usually, here what we see is the skin in shadow. Okay, it's not dark. There's no black line here. Here on top of, the upper portion, let's say where is the iris. In that area we can paint it black because of the eyelashes. But the area that's going close to the tear duct, we're gonna think about just a reddish brownish color, if that exists. Okay, let's move to the nose. I don't see the other eye. Let's read some comments. Universe is in here. I'm more beautiful than the. Oh, okay, thank you. Hello, Tony Guerin. Hello. Okay, sorry, I don't understand French. Okay, let's work on the nose. I see a little bit of a reflected light on the nose. Pick up a little bit of paint on the tip of the brush. I think it's here. Let's see. So sure about that reflected light. I think the nose is kind of big. Yeah, something's not okay on the nose. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know where it is. Maybe I should. Yeah, I don't know. I need to just continue painting in order to compare more. But right now, I'm not so sure what to fix. And when I'm not so sure, I just prefer just continue painting. That follow my process. You know, I work the eye, then the nose, then I move to the mouth. Okay. Let's see. Need a different brush for a darker color. Yeah, this one is okay. Black, raw umber, and a alizarin crimson. Okay. Okay. She looked more sleepy in the pic. Okay, thank you. Hello. Alida Below, I running some from Durban, South Africa. I love watching you painting every day. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty nice. How long do you keep the painting drying before varnish? Maybe a month. Who's this woman who paints? I just picked up for the image from Pinterest. Yeah. Lisa saying you have the most perfect setup for teaching online. Oh, okay, very simple and easy to understand. Thank you. The time you spend is extremely generous. Thank you. Yeah. You're welcome. University saying nose left side down. Nose is dark on picture. It's like a strong line which separates the tip of nose. Okay. I'm gonna check out on that. Okay. I'm making this a little bit darker. I gotta be sure about values. Remember that usually we tend to, light up the darker colors. Mixing black, raw umber, and a touch of alizarin crimson again. Okay, I need just raw umber and black. Touch of black, okay? I'm going to paint the eyebrow here. I don't want any reddish color on the eyebrow. That's why I prepared a new mixture. And I didn't use the one that I had with alizarin crimson. Okay. Universe, I can explain very good English. I'm from Germany, learning with you. Oh wow, from Germany. Sorry, what should I do for the paper before I start drawing with oil paint? Add 3 layers of gesso. 3 or 4 layers of gesso. Yeah. That should work. But, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, there is so many reasons why we choose materials, but for example, as a student, when I was a student in the School of Art, everything for me is about just finding the cheaper materials that I could find everywhere. And to prepare my canvases with my friends, we used to go to these businesses. They have a name here. I don't know how. Well, they prepare bread for breakfast. Bread. Yeah. They usually they use flour, and the flour comes on some kind of packages made of cloth. It's a fabric. A fabric. I hope I can explain this good. And I remember we used to go there and buy that fabric, those bags for the flour, and we paint on top of that. We prepare obviously that first. I didn't use gesso or gesso at that time. For me, it was at the beginning. I started to use. I don't remember exactly what was first, but it was about using more the paint that we use for painting walls, for painting our houses. That kind of paint, okay. Yeah, that's what we usually use. And now I became a teacher. I was a teacher for a year in the School of Art. And students now they are still using the same. And all the students they prefer to prepare their own canvases. Let me know if I explained that okay, because kind of lost sometimes with words. But English is my second language. And I painted on those fabrics for what? 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years, a lot of time. They were pretty cheap. But I gotta say, between paper and that, obviously, it's better to use any fabric that you could use. Anything. You know. I even once I remember my mom. I think she was about to throw away some what do you say, cheats from the bed. Sleep. I picked them up and I prepared my canvases on that. Okay, let's see. And that more highlight here. Okay, I need to step back. Looks like I'm doing okay. Yeah, I need to. Okay, I need to paint a little bit of the hair. Yeah. Hello, FIFA. Thank you. Hello, Jane or Jana or Jana Dragus from Germany. Thank you on Facebook. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna paint a little bit of the hair. I'm gonna use a fan brush. I got one here. Okay, let me see. Okay, first I need to darken up this. I'm adding black, a little bit of raw umber, a touch of cadmium red. Okay, I'm gonna use this fan brush, one corner of the brush, the other corner of the brush. I pick up more paint again. More questions? Let me know more questions. I love to try to answer questions. Let me know where you're from. Another thing that I love is just to try to picture places on my memory, in my head. Okay, let me see. I need a different brush. I wanna just light up this area, darken up here, light up here. Maybe it could be a better idea to separate the shadow here even more. You know, the shadow kind of get confused with this area, which is pretty nice, but what if I separate that face from the shadow? Okay, that's just an idea. You know, the other idea could be just make the shadow a little bit up. Kind of, yeah. I think that would be better. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. I'm gonna make this darker again. I'm gonna paint the shadow up here. You know, it's just like the shadow here on the photograph looks like a triangular shape. I want to see more like the shape of her head. Okay? And maybe even try to make a little bit of the neck. Okay, there. Now here's a little bit darker too. It's lighter up here. Lighter here. Lighter here. Lighter here. Okay, this is just black and white. I'm gonna add a touch of blue. A touch of blue, just to add a little bit of color. Okay, let's see. Okay, I need to blend a little bit. Jana Dragus is asking me, the more layers of paint I apply, the more complicated it is for the canvas to absorb the paint. What am I doing wrong? You mean when you paint a la prima in one session? Because okay, first, the canvas shouldn't absorb the paint. The paint usually stays on top of the canvas, but it's not absorbed. That's why I can move it. We can move it easily. Okay. Now, sometimes it could be what in my experience. Okay, I have seen sometimes that, for example, here I got these brushes here. These are cheaper ones, synthetic brushes, but it's kind of, a little bit stiff. If I use this brush to apply the paint here, usually what's gonna happen is sometimes these brushes pick up the paint that was before. Okay, it's kind of impossible. Just I use this just to add thicker paint, like the one I have here. Like doing something like this. I'm gonna lay down thicker paint. But if I'm starting to blend, usually what's happening, I can see it. Okay, it's kind of lifting up the paint a little bit, and it makes it difficult to blend. And that's because of the brush. Okay, now, and the other reason that I have seen things like that, like the painting is just, is lifting up, is because of the canvas. I don't know, it looks like sometimes the canvas looks like plastic. And we think, wow, we think that first. I remember when maybe a couple of times I prepared a canvas like looks like plastic, like no texture at all, nothing. I couldn't see the tooth of the fabric's tooth, and I thought this is amazing. But when I started to paint, it looks like the painting doesn't stick on the canvas. Yeah, I remember that time they didn't stick on the canvas. It kind of was moving, and it was kind of flexible, too flexible to be able to blend or to do anything. Okay, and usually this is about the materials, brushes, canvas. Now I'm trying to just Jim, hello Jean, Edwin, hello Sina, hello Sylvia. Jonas is from Sweden, the land of snow and Vikings. Oh, that's pretty nice. Okay, John. Katia is asking me. Okay, I'm scrolling up to. I think I have lost some questions. Okay, the painting is beautiful. Jana is saying, "Did you see your Paris challenge of painting on metal? It must have been hard to control the color. Have you done something similar?" No, I have seen the video, and more than one. I think he's painting on. I don't know what material is that, but yeah, that would be pretty difficult to control. I think. Yeah, what I think is just use really soft brushes, and what I don't know if this metal has some kind of texture. I gotta go back to the videos because to be honest, I just saw one video, not completely. Okay, I gotta check out on the material. Okay. Kat is saying how to stop perfectionism. I have many oil paintings that I have fully dried because I failed. Well, yeah. Well, that's difficult. Yeah, I don't think there is. To be honest, I think there are things that just becomes or things that just the way we are. It's not gonna be about painting, just painting. If you're a perfectionist person, pretty sure it's for everything. Yeah. And we gotta just deal with failure in painting for in order to get better. And just keep trying, keep practicing, and just embrace the fact that it's gonna be a lot of failures when we paint. It's just that. There is no way to change that. It's just like practicing music. There's no way that we pick up an instrument and we're gonna play an amazing symphony. It's gonna take time. Yeah. There's no magic solution. Usually on things that we do by handmade things, you just take practice and a lot of repetition, repetition, repetition. I tried so many times to play the guitar, so many times. No, maybe not so many, but at least like 3 or 4 times, you know. And maybe it's not my thing. I tried, I failed. I tried again, I failed again. And I know there's no failing. It's just that we don't have enough experience. We don't know how to play an instrument. It's just like that. Now, if I study 5 years in an institution or how to play the guitar and then I failed, I mean, that means that's not my thing. But obviously, that's not gonna happen, because if you spend that time studying something, pretty sure you're gonna get better. We're gonna get better if we put just a lot of practice on anything. And the thing is that I failed. I felt like I'm not gonna try more. I didn't want to put the time. But the one thing for that one, what makes the difference that I'm a painter, and I spend a lot of time. A lot of my time is about painting. And this thing about music, this is something that is gonna ask you for a lot of time. I think it's not enough just an hour a day. And how is it gonna deal with that? I mean, that means just paint less. But painting is my life in terms of I make a living on painting. It's not like I cannot quit. If I quit, I don't eat. And that's my excuse. Let's say. For painting is kind of similar. We need to put some time, and sometimes we don't have the time. But that's normal. That's for everything. That just happens for everything we do. You just that, you know. The good thing, I don't know about playing the guitar and practicing 1 hour a week or 2 hours per week. But the good thing about oil paints that I have seen people improve just painting once a week for 2 3 hours. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Obviously, the improvement is slow, but I have seen improvement. But that's what I know about painting. I don't know. I don't know if maybe if I go to a teacher and I want to learn to play the piano and I say, hey, I'm gonna play just an hour or 2 hours per week. Maybe that teacher's gonna laugh on me and say, what? I mean, you're not gonna learn anything 2 hours per week. Well, for painting, yeah, that's. I mean, that's we learn something. Yeah? Once a week, even once a week, we learn something. I don't know the reason, yeah, but I think that it has to do with this thing that painting is not just copying what we see. We need the knowledge to help us to see more. They keep repeating that we paint what we see and we paint what we know. Okay, that kind of complement theory with practice. Hello, Elizabeth. I have a question, says Katia. How do you grow past perfectionism? Stops me from finishing paintings. If I go back on time to check out my paintings from maybe 10 years ago, maybe I'm gonna realize that about mistakes that I was making at that time. And maybe I'm gonna feel so tempted to correct them, I saw one of my paintings once on somebody's house. I don't remember, but I don't remember exactly. It was just one time that I don't know how that happened. I ended up one person that bought one of my paintings from an art gallery, and I saw the painting. And as soon as I saw the painting, I saw a mistake. I said, "Oh my God!" It's like for me, it was like everybody's gonna see the mistake. Everybody's watching the mistake again and again. But I wanted to correct it. That was impossible. And even I remember maybe I know myself. Sometimes I got to the point to be kind of annoying. Sometimes when I want a kind of an answer. I'm pretty sure. I think I can't remember. I started to the conversation in saying, "Hey, do you think that the painting the leg is kind of short, something like that?" And this guy was like, "What?" And he saw the painting. He said, "Oh no, no! I bought this painting because I thought it was perfect." And I said, "Okay." I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. And yeah, what can I say? That happens. Maybe sometimes we see mistakes. People don't see the same mistakes. And maybe it's just mistakes that we think that are there. Who knows? I mean, to be honest, when we paint so many times, I go back and forth, I correct something, and then I realize, okay, that's worse. I gotta go back and repaint again, and every brush stroke kind of, fixed or make it something worse. And that kind of keep us, continue painting, and that process when we see the portrait is kind of getting better little by little, but at some point, for me, for example, I see the face, I see the likeness, and I see, hey, it's getting closer, and then all of a sudden, I think, oh my God, I lost it. I lost the likeness, and then it's there again, and then I lost it again, and then at the end, I don't know. I'm not even sure because I've been painting for 3 hours, and already I'm feeling the fatigue, and then I don't want to check out anymore the painting, But I push myself always to check out proportions, all of those things to be sure that the painting is okay, yeah? As much as possible. It's like I always try. For example, I think proportions, comparison, values. Okay, when I paint about values, I'm copying what I see, yeah. But at the same time, I always think, hey, this light is the brightest one. I gotta be sure, that I'm not gonna use the same color, the same brush to paint the highlight on the chin. Okay, I gotta be sure. I'm gonna change the value to paint the light is below here. Okay, and I'm gonna pick up the color for the light that's here. Okay, that means that's kind of an awareness, that's the word, that I have on the process. I'm trying to always think about what I'm doing. I'm trying to always think about those rules, about painting, about values, about edges. Okay, as soon as I know at some point I'm gonna think, hey, I'm gonna sharpen this edge and I'm gonna soften this edge. Yeah, because I know that it's gonna make the neck recede and it's going to make here the chin pop forward. Okay. Okay. Now how much I soften this edge. I think that's enough. Or how much I keep this edge sharp. What about here? Okay, how you can get the right measurements? Yeah, I've been practicing this the measurements for a long time, and I practice in so many ways. Like I have, I remember as a practice, I used to, for example, start a face drawing on the chin, and then building up on the drawing without measuring anything. Then the mouth, then the nose, then the eyes. And as I was drawing, I was correcting. I was trying to see the whole thing and see the measurements. Or I started as a practice. I said the ear and then building up the rest, and or just one eye, and then the rest. Okay, to try to kind of memorize proportions. That was my exercise. One of my exercises to try to memorize proportions. At that time I used to think, hey, I should be able to draw a face from any angle and starting at any point and get the proportions right. Okay, obviously, I was close, but never perfect. But that's the purpose of practice. Okay, another practice that I used to draw by memory. Okay, I used to let's say see this portrait, this photograph for a few minutes, and then try to draw by memory. But it was pretty difficult. For me, for my purpose, it was trying to get the likeness. It was kind of impossible. Or it was impossible for me. As soon as I stopped watching the face, it kind of started to vanishing from my brain, from my memory. It's just like that. Looks like our visual memory is kind of, weak. Yeah. Blending. This is a brush number 00, but you can see it's the same like my bigger blending brush. Okay, Sylvie saying, do you prefer glass or matte finer varnish? Yeah, I prefer matte. Thank you, Jama North. Thank you, Brigitte Bertrand on Facebook. I prefer matte. Yeah, but it depends. Okay, there is not an absolute answer always. I remember that I painted one something red, something really colorful, pure red. I think it was a dress, and with the matte varnish, it looks kind of opaque. When I added a gloss varnish, it was reddish, intense. Eh, I would choose the glass. Yeah. Uh, Jing Ewins saying, I'm from Holland, the land of Rembrandt, Van Gogh, Vermeer. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm full of envy right now. Sylvie saying, I'm from Italy. Oh wow, that's pretty nice. Yeah. Uh, what brand paint and brushes do you use? Oh, yeah, the brand that says here says, Bianjo. This one is it says Corona. It's pretty funny name. But okay, yeah, I wouldn't pay attention to the brand because usually my brushes are not pretty expensive, and I have found kind of the same brushes and with different names. Yeah, I say okay, I'm not gonna pay attention to the name anymore unless I buy a really expensive brush, which obviously the brand is pretty important. In my case, I used to when I go to buy a brush, I used to hold it, touch it, and say, "Hey, that's good. That's good." And that's it. And then I use it and I realize, yeah, it works pretty good. Or sometimes, no, it's not that good, and I'm gonna buy of this one again. Or maybe yes, I'm gonna buy just to work on some areas, not for not for every detail. Oh, I have a link to Amazon. The link to Amazon, you can see that those I couldn't find the same brushes that I use on Amazon, but the link is to a brushes that I had used before. It's, I gotta say that basically are kind of the same. Soft brushes, soft synthetic brushes, just that. Nothing special about them. Just pretty soft, okay. Not they're not the cheaper one that you're gonna find, obviously, but definitely not expensive ones. And sometimes I mean, I find really surprises, amazing surprises, like the brushes that I'm seeing. These ones for $3, a set of 6 brushes on Dollar City. That's amazing. That usually don't happen. That doesn't happen. And when I go to buy brushes like that, like brushes, cheap brushes, I'm thinking more for brushes for the first stages when I hit the canvas with the brush really roughly, just to paint the first layer. Every time that I go our store, I gotta buy something. That's yeah. Even a simple brush, I gotta buy something. Okay, let's see. Mm, let's see the shadow here. Imagine that this is the neck. Stepping back. Oh, I see the lower lip. It looks kind of flat. Need some light here. Okay, do you feel the need to lift your brush around freely? Yeah, sometimes. Hello, Muhammad Wakar on Facebook, thank you. Hello, Alex Kamara on Facebook, thank you. Yeah, I got some paintings on my channel that has kind of a loose brush stroke, and like 4-5 videos where I paint really thick paint, but 10 times this amount. Okay, this is not thicker at all, but 20 times maybe this amount of paint I'm using now. It's just what I like, you know, at the moment, but usually I like this kind of soft finished. Yep. It's not like pretty precise on details, but I'm copying the photograph obviously, but at the same time what I want to add is some softness. Okay, obviously that was one of characteristics of oil paints. You know, but it doesn't matter the style, it doesn't matter the brush strokes or of that. I always paying attention to the same things, okay? Values, edges, color. It's always the same. And sometimes I paint from black and white photographs. When I do that, I just wanna practice my memory about mixing colors and color harmony. If you don't copy color, basically you gotta create the harmony. You gotta create the background, and that's one of the more difficult things. I practice that from time to time when I think that I need to. And we practice that once a month. You know, on Patreon, the lessons on oil paint, on portraits, we paint. We have 4 classes per month. Okay, each class is 4 hours to 5 hours long. That means we paint for 4 hours to 5 hours a portrait. We try to finish up a portrait every session, and one of the session is to paint from a black and white photograph. Yeah. What's the reason? Obviously, to understand that one thing is what we see, you know, but we can just create some kind of recipe around mixing the skin color, and we can use it again and again, and don't even care about matching the skin color or trying to mix a lot of colors trying to match what we see. Okay, we can get closer little by little, but the bases are kind of simple. For me, for example, I use that for a lot of reasons. For example, when I have painted some demos, live demos, when I was a teacher. Okay, and my first step, that was mixing, 2, 3, 4 values. I started with an orangey color. Why? Because that's the simple thing that we can do to paint the skin color. I see the person. It was enough to see the person just for 5 seconds to realize that the skin color is lighter, darker. And then based on that, mix my colors. That would be a gray down orangey color. That's what I needed. That's what I need until today. And from there, I started to make adjustments, make it more orangey, more reddish, and get even closer to the skin color. Okay, but it wasn't about mixing on my palette for an hour to get the perfect skin color. No, and that's one of the things that we practice on Patreon. Okay, and what happens with time, that people are starting to understand that they don't need to kind of be so worried about mixing the skin color, and they're starting to realize, hey, you know what, I gotta be more worried about how dark and how light are my colors. And that starts to happen usually when you see that your painting is better. You say, wow, this painting is pretty good, and you realize that you're not comparing the color anymore. You say it's pretty good based on what? Or the color is pretty close to the photograph? No, based on values, based on edges, and based on a skin color that is closer, but it's not perfect. It's not a perfect match. Yeah. Pretty nice to be a painter. Okay, I got a question here. Katia is saying, what is your favorite brand of oil paint? Sylvia is saying, very beautiful painting. Thank you, Sylvia. My favorite brand? Okay, difficult to say. What can I say? I could say any brand, but what I use on daily basis here on YouTube is Winton from Winsor & Newton. Yeah. I have used definitely more brands. The ones that I liked a lot, it was a brand that existed here, 2 brands that existed here in Peru. One is Phoenix. That was the brand Phoenix. It was a long time ago. Pretty nice oil paints. My mom, she's a painter, and she, until today, she been keeping like few portraits from that moment, at that time when she was using that brand Phoenix. And I gotta say, the color is it looks like it was painted yesterday. It's a pretty nice brand. It doesn't exist anymore here. And then the other brand, it was named Kajak. It was a brand that existed here. It was a guy, he used to prepare their own oil paints and sell them between painters. Yes, yeah. Just freely, without, he didn't create a brand, no, nothing. He was put the name on a label that he used to print out on, I'm pretty sure, on his own home. It was pretty nice, pretty, you can tell that the color was pretty bright, the pigment, it was pretty nice. And what else? Oh, and acrylics. I've been using for a couple of years this brand, Reefs. Somebody wrote a comment on my YouTube channel, one of my acrylics portrait videos. He was like, "Oh my God, that brand is pretty cheap." The brand, when I go to a store, I don't even go closer to the brand because I don't like it. It's not that good. And, when at the end he says something like, "Hey, I'm pretty amazed, that with that cheaper material he could get away with a nice portrait." And then I realized that this brand Reeves is pretty cheap. Because when I go to the store to buy, I say, "Hey, I don't want something pretty cheap. I don't want something expensive. Just I want something in the middle." The guy told me, "Hey, this brand is pretty nice." I said, "Okay. How much this?" "Okay, just I never asked anyone about the brand or anything. I just came here to YouTube and I started to paint with acrylics. I have painted just maybe 5 or maybe 10. I think 10 acrylic paintings on my YouTube channel. I'm planning to do more, but yeah, you can tell that I like more oil paints. Yeah. Okay, let me think. Okay. The pupil is not okay. The lower, the lower eyelid is not okay. Let me see if there is a way to reverse my window here on OBS. Could be a way to do it. Somebody knows? Yeah, I think I painted the iris too big. No? You can see now that it's pretty close to the painting. Yeah. And the mouth, I can see another thing about the mouth. I need to make it a little bit bigger here, and the shadow here a little bit darker, and at the same time this little light here. Yeah. Now the color on the lower eyelid has to be a little bit lighter. Up and lighter. It's better to see it like this, when it's same kind of to the same size. I can see more and more mistakes, Yeah, I think I painted the eye too big. Okay. Could you see that you could compare more when the photograph was pretty close to the size of the painting? Okay, I need to paint the mouth a little bit more reddish. Yeah, that's better. The edge here on the nose a little bit sharper. Here. A little bit. Okay, more light. Need to. Oh wow! I saw something here. Look at the light here. How it goes, like this. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm trying to get closer, closer and closer. And changing a little bit of color, trying to keep values. Okay. Let's see some comments. Okay, let's see some comments here. I use a lot of gambling paint. Winsor is also excellent. That's good. I prefer oil paint to Sylvie saying that. Jean Ewing saying, can you explain more fully how and why you use the flip or mirror? I have seen you doing it, but can't see how it helps. Okay. Okay. Garu is saying the eye appears to open more than the picture. Yeah. Jonas is saying I saw that too. Yeah, you could compare more when it was closer there. Yeah. Alida Bilo is saying I love painting. Never had any training. I just copy. I've been painting for over 20 years. Oh, that's pretty nice, Alida. Yeah. Okay. I got a link here on Facebook from Joanne. Thank you. Link to oil paints. Okay. This thing about using the mirror. Okay. Yeah. Something happened there. To be honest, I don't know how to explain it in a way maybe that easy to understand for everybody. But let me elaborate. Okay. It's just I would like to find the right words to try to explain this, what's happening there. Okay. Somebody wanna help me with the explanation? That would be nice. Okay. Now I'm trying to remember some. What was the impression when I started to use a mirror? It's been a long time, but one thing that I know for sure, and I don't remember for sure, it's not just about the first time that happens so often. That as soon as I use a mirror, and the mistake just trying to just it's so easy to see when something is off, and it's kind of leave an impression on you, like you say, wow, oh my god, it was for me, like, oh my god, that was wrong, I didn't realize it, it's so clear now. Sometimes it happens the same when we step back a lot. Okay, an example of that is when I'm about to publish a photograph on Facebook or any place, and as soon as I see the photograph, which is pretty small, I see mistakes. I say, wow, I didn't see that mistake when it was bigger, something like that. That's why painters keep saying, hey, step back a lot, And the other thing is, squint down your eyes and reverse, use a mirror, a black mirror to see values, and use a regular mirror to try to find mistakes, see if something is off. Right? Okay. Again, on the pattern lessons, what I do when some students just send me a picture of their painting, I use Photoshop to reverse the image, and both, the original image and the painting, and we can see clearly sometimes, just the mistakes just pop really easily. Now, maybe I gotta say, I don't know, maybe it's just that some people are just more. For some people it's easy just to use a mirror. For some people maybe it's not. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I mean, between, let's say, people that love digital painting, they find that pretty natural, because they usually, I have seen so many videos on digital painting, they used to reverse, the image constantly, like, a lot. They draw and then they flip the image, the painting, and then continue drawing. They continue flipping the painting. It's pretty common on digital painting, and it's easier, obviously easier. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try to do it. Okay, here with my painting, I'm gonna try to share with you with Photoshop. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna capture my screen and I'm gonna open new window here, new canvas on Photoshop. I paste the image. I'm gonna crop it first. Okay, I'm gonna make it bigger, the smaller one. I mean the photograph. Okay, I think I made it too big. Okay, now I'm gonna show you all this. I'm gonna share with you. Okay, where is it? Here's Photoshop. Here's my painting in the photograph. Okay, I can see, even that is no reverse, I can see mistakes. Okay, now I'm gonna reverse it. Okay, I'm gonna flip it. Now, should be easier to see mistakes there. I see something on the upper eyelid. That's not okay. I'm gonna correct it. You're not gonna see me correcting because obviously I'm checking out the same window. Okay, but it's easier. Okay, that's the same that using a mirror. It's a mirror. Okay, it's the same, exactly the same. Okay, I see more mistakes. I think it's about the size of the chin. Definitely, I gotta reduce the size of the iris. I like it. I like my painting. Okay, if I do some corrections just to get closer to the photograph. Oh, another thing about the size of the ear. I think it's too big. I'm correcting right now, as I'm watching. With your, I'm gonna flip it again. Okay. Okay, let me know. No, let me know if you all have seen something different. What have you experienced? Okay, for me, I know what to correct now to get closer to, to the photograph. Okay. One is going to be the eye. The other thing that's going to be the iris. Specifically, what's going to be the darker line around the iris. It has to be a little bit lighter. Now, when I don't have a Photoshop, obviously I would use a mirror. Okay. Another thing that would be the pupil. Pupil is not okay. Okay, that's better. What else? Yeah, I got to soften here. It's got to be kind of lost. Here is lost to the edge. Lost. What about the mouth? Yeah, I think the mouth is okay. What about the edge of the face? Yeah. Something's not good here. And what about the nose? I think it should be sharper. Here, this edge. Here. I'm thinking about this. A little bit lighter. A little bit sharper. Yep. Let me see it. Yeah, I think it's better. Okay. I'm pretty happy with my painting. I think I'm pretty close. You know, okay. One more thing I want to think about. I want to think about now about the background. What do you think? It's gonna be. This is gonna be okay. I'm gonna read the comments in a second. Okay, I think I'm gonna use a foam brush. I'm gonna add some hair here just to hide the eye. Okay. Let me see. Let me think. I'm gonna think about. Okay. Okay, I think I should see a little bit of the eyebrow here. I'm gonna use black with a touch of alizarin and crimson. What about that? Kind of complicated this area, just thinking like about here. I need to add a little bit of light. Yeah, that's better now. What if I insinuate an eye there a little bit? Hmm. Can you see it? Little bit of the eye. There's animation there. Let's see if I light up here a little bit more. I don't see anything here, but usually, it's the same form everywhere in the face. For example, this area that I'm painting out, we should create the illusion that this is something that's turning, and it's not something flat. Kind of difficult. Okay. The mouth is open. Mm. Whew. Here in Facebook, Joanne Michaelis is telling me the bottom right hand corner of her eye. Okay, thank you, Sergio. Okay, okay. Maybe here's too dark. Okay. What if I add a reflected light, a little bit of reflected light here? Just a tiny bit, just to see the face there. Okay, I think I'm getting closer to the end. Maybe I'm gonna paint 10 more minutes. And as always, I'm just going to suggest you all just to go. You can go. You're free to go. You're free to go. Need a softer brush. This foam brush is not too soft. I think I forgot to clean it. Okay, that's better. Okay, you know what? I think that's it for today. I'm pretty happy with the painting, but we can stay just, looking for more and more tiny details. I could be here for 4 or 5 hours. Uh, Man, I'm hungry now. I gotta eat. Okay, I'm planning to go to eat and then go to play soccer. Still play soccer even I'm old. And then go back to my class. Today we have a drawing class from 7 to 10 p.m. Okay, thank you everybody for being here. I really appreciate people that spend the time here. And as always, you know that for every Thursday I go live from 2 p.m. to usually 5 p.m. Central Time. Okay, US Central Time. I don't live in USA. I think it's easier to calculate the time when I say USA Central Time, which is the same time here in Lima. Okay. Adding some touches of red. And like I said before, I'm gonna see if I can go live twice a week. It would be nice. Some people are asking me about painting with acrylics. And maybe one day it could be just for oil paint and the other day for acrylics or pastel, because I love to paint with pastels too. Okay, and maybe painting another subject. I love painting portraits, and I think I'm gonna keep just painting portraits for the rest of my days. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Okay, that's it for today. Yeah. Oh, maybe on the hair. I forgot something about the hair. The top of the hair. Let's just make this. Oh, I see something that's not okay on the neck. Okay, okay. No, I think that's her neck is like that. It looks like it looks like that. Looks this okay. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next time. I hope you have learned something from me. I hope you have enjoyed, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, okay, you can subscribe and smash the like button. The like button. I think that's the more important thing. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. See you next time. Hello, Helena. Hello, Cisarte. Okay, thank you, Gary. Gary saying this is one of your best. Thank you, exploring. Thank you, Wolf Pack Studios. Hello, Mr. Serge. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. See you next time. Yeah, now I'm going for real. Now I gotta go. Okay, just one thing. A highlight here on the shoulder. A little bit of light here. Okay, I'm gonna blend it a little bit and that's it. No more, no more. Okay, that's it. Bye. So maybe one more thing. Yeah, I mean, every time that I try to stop, I see something. Something that I think I gotta fix it. I cannot leave it like that. Yeah. Okay, that's it.